This is the ultimate recipe for homemade shawarma. It's super easy to do, it's extremely tasty, and you get lots of it to share with family and friends. Wow.
Big thanks to Kamado Joe for sponsoring this episode.
One of my favorite healthy meals is shawarma. It's not really healthy, but you know, it's chicken and there's vegetables involved. And so in my personal expertise as a dietist, whatever you call these people, I think this is pretty healthy. Why am I even going here? Nobody cares. But I'm going to show you how you can make it yourself super easy with this recipe. And not only am I going to give you just the shawarma recipe, I'm also going to show you how to make garlic sauce and a salad to go with it. The first thing that you need is a big bowl of chicken thighs. This is 3 kilograms, aka 6 pounds of chicken thighs. Now you want chicken thighs because it has a lot of flavor, but you also got these little fatty edges, and that is going to make your shawarma tastes even better. The first thing that you're going to add to the chicken is about 1/4 cup of olive oil. That is going to help with sticking the seasoning to the chicken. Now I promised to keep it simple, so I'm going to start with a barbecue seasoning. And this is an all-purpose barbecue seasoning, the PitmasterX Classic. And the reason that I'm using this is because almost all the ingredients that you need for shawarma seasoning is already in the barbecue seasoning. So I'm going to add about 6 tablespoons of this. And then all I need to do is add a tablespoon of cumin seed and ground coriander seeds. Now mix this all in. Once you got the seasoning on, you're going to put this in the fridge. Now the next step is to fire up the barbecue, and therefore I'm going to use the Kamado Joe Classic. I already have it set up with my rotisserie, so all I need to do now is add a little bit of charcoal and put a fire starter in to light it up. In the startup process I have all the vents open, and once the fire starters burn down and the charcoal is lit up, I'm going to close the bottom vent almost all the way, while at the same time keeping the top vent open. Of course we're not wasting time while we wait, so now is the time to make garlic sauce. And this may be the most important recipe of the whole recipe. I'm going to teach you this recipe because it's super easy to make, it tastes amazing, and everybody is going to ask you for the recipe. Don't share it, it's between us. Just you and me can have this recipe. Alright, I'm going to start with 400 grams of creme fraiche. And that never wants to come out until it wants to come out. To this I'm going to add the same amount of mayonnaise. Oh yeah. Don't use a light mayonnaise, you really want to have that heavy, rich stuff because you already got the creme fraiche for the lightness. And that's why I don't use full mayonnaise, otherwise you're going to get a mayonnaise sauce and that's not what we want. We really need the creme fraiche to be a really good garlic sauce of which you can eat a lot. Now of course we're also going to need a little bit of parsley. And garlic sauce is really meant to be fresh and bright, and that is what this garlic is going to bring as well. This is about 4 tablespoons. Then comes the lemon juice. We're going to use the juice of half a lemon. And then maybe the most important ingredient, garlic. Now I've got a couple of small garlic cloves from our neighbor's garden, and they're very, very potent. So 4 of these small ones is going to be enough. Especially when you store this sauce overnight, it's just going to be exploding into that sauce. And the biggest mistake you can make is adding too much garlic. So therefore 4 of these tiny ones or 2 large ones is going to be enough. There we go. I'm going to mix this in. Break up the creme fraiche. And then the final ingredient, 2 teaspoons of sugar. The sugar is going to balance out the acidity of the lemon. And that brings the whole sauce back together into one. Set this in the fridge as well. Now that the charcoal is lit, I'm going to close the lid. And that is going to bring my Kamado Joe up to temperature. Let's prep the shawarma. Of course I got the rotisserie. And I got my workspace covered. So that way I'm going to make it easy for myself. Then the chicken goes on. Boom. And a red cabbage. Yeah, there's a trick right here. I'm going to cut that red cabbage in half, just like that. It's a small one, and that's absolutely perfect. Because you see these big pins that we got on the rotisserie. They're necessary to keep the meat in position, but they also take up a lot of space. And now I reduce the amount of space that it takes up. And now I can start stacking that meat. I got a large surface to start from. Of course you have to keep in mind that that first piece of chicken is going to be red, but that's fine, I'll eat that piece of chicken. I'm going to place on the chicken thighs layer by layer. And now I'm going to top it off again with the cabbage. Oh, there we go. Nice and tight. Might need to reposition this. Push on it and make it secure. We want that meat as tight as possible so it doesn't start rotating on its own. And now look at this. Now that is some good looking shawarma. The barbecue is now lit up and running at temperature. Which is about 120 degrees Celsius, 240, 250 degrees Fahrenheit. And now I'm gonna put the shawarma on the grill. I'm gonna reposition it inside the barbecue, make sure that it's centered. Then I'm gonna switch on the rotisserie and let it rotate. I'm gonna close the lid again, because otherwise I'm gonna get a surge of heat hitting that chicken, and that's just gonna be way too much. We don't want burnt chicken on the outside and raw chicken on the inside. No, we need an even cook. And to keep my eye on the temperature, I'm gonna use the chef's temp, which is a wireless thermometer probe. All I need to do is stick it in the chicken, right there, close the lid, and now I can digitally keep track of the temperature inside the chicken. And since we're blasting away on that rotisserie, I'm gonna start by slicing up an onion. I'm gonna crush the onion. And the funny thing is that when people eat vegetables, they think they don't need to season them, which in the Middle Eastern countries, they definitely do. And I'm gonna season mine too. I'm gonna season these onions with the PitmasterX classic barbecue seasoning. Then I'm going to take some carrots and grate them. And then I'm going to need some lettuce. Just slice it, cut it in half, add it to the salad. Now there are some pickled peppers that traditionally fit shawarma better, but I'm sticking with regular pickles. And I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of the pickle juice as a salad dressing. Just got the notification from my chef's temp that the chicken is done. So we're taking it off. Oh, look at that. You can still hear the heat and the sizzle. Now you see how easy it is to make your chicken shawarma at home. Basically, it's too easy. It's almost like cheating. Just take a sharp knife and start slicing from the outside. We're gonna get that crisp off. Of course, if something drops off the table, you gotta eat it, right? Wow, wow, that's good. That is so tasty. This is what you want from chicken shawarma. Now we got all the nice crispy bits. Of course, I'm gonna put this back on the barbecue so we get more crispy bits and we can start plating up a sandwich. Quarter Turkish bread, and these are my personal favorites for shawarma. Slice into it, lay down some garlic sauce, and don't be cheap. Now personally I like a little bit of heat, so I'm gonna add some sriracha. I'm gonna follow that up with the salad, and then in goes the chicken shawarma. And that is how you make a chicken shawarma sandwich at home. Wow, that is a tasty shawarma. Hope you guys enjoyed this very tasty and easy recipe. See you guys in the next video. Until then, eet smakelijk and keep on rotating.